Have you ever had that feeling that what you're seeing isn't the whole story? That maybe, just maybe, reality itself is a carefully crafted illusion? Well, today we're diving deep into something called Project Blue Beam. It's a conspiracy theory so big, so detailed, it claims our entire world is on the brink of a high-tech, simulated apocalypse, one designed for total global control.
You know, it all starts with a really powerful idea, something President Reagan himself talked about. The one thing that could finally unite all of us, all of humanity, would be a common enemy from the stars. But what if that threat wasn't real? What if it was manufactured for a very specific reason?
And this is where it gets weird, because this abstract idea starts to look a lot like some of the strange things we're seeing today. For instance, in the last few years, people have been seeing these huge unidentified drones, some as big as a car, just gliding silently over cities in New Jersey and California. And the official explanation? Well, there really isn't one.
At the exact same time, the U.S. government starts this, unprecedented campaign of officially disclosing information on what they now call UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomena. So you really have to ask yourself, are these bizarre sightings and this sudden transparency from the government, is it all just a coincidence, or are these carefully placed pieces in a much, much bigger puzzle?
This is where we run into a theory that tries to connect all of these dots. And let me tell you, it's an idea so unsettling it could challenge everything you think you know.
So what is Project Blue Beam?
At its very core, the theory claims that a powerful global elite is planning to use some kind of unbelievably advanced holographic technology to stage a massive, planet-wide show. We're talking either a divine, messianic return or a terrifying alien invasion, all designed to scare humanity into accepting a single world government, what they call a new world order. And that phrase, new world order, it isn't just some fringe conspiracy term. Nope, it's been used openly by world leaders, including George H.W. Bush. For people who believe in Project Blue Beam, this is proof that the plan has been hiding in plain sight for decades.
But a theory this elaborate doesn't just pop up out of thin air. To really get it, we need to meet the controversial journalist who first brought this whole thing to light.
His name was Serge Monast. He was a Canadian investigative journalist from Quebec, and back in the 90s, he became a pretty big deal in conspiracy circles, writing and lecturing about all sorts of alleged secret government projects. He covered everything from mind control to covert weather warfare, but Project Blue Beam, that was his masterpiece. But here's where Monast's story takes a really dark turn. As his theories started getting more and more attention, he began claiming that he and his family were actually being targeted by government agencies. And then, in December of 1996, he died, suddenly, of a heart attack. He was only 51 years old.
Now, for his followers, the timing was just way too convenient. They were convinced he was silenced for getting too close to the truth. Whether you believe that or not, his sudden death has become a huge part of the whole story, adding this layer of dangerous mystery to everything he claimed.
According to Monast, Project Blue Beam isn't just a single event. No, it's a meticulously planned, four-step psychological operation. So let's break down exactly how it's supposed to work.
As you can see, the plan he laid out has a pretty clear path. First, you undermine what people already believe. Then, you put on a massive show to introduce a new belief. Next, you communicate directly into people's minds to make it stick. And finally, you create a global crisis to lock in the New World Order for good. So, step 1. How do you get people to abandon centuries of faith? Well, according to the theory, you literally shake the world's foundations. The idea is to trigger artificial earthquakes to uncover new archaeological sites. Sites that contain discoveries specifically designed to contradict and invalidate the teachings of all major religions. The goal? To throw the entire world into spiritual chaos. And believers point to real discoveries like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey as proof that this is possible. I mean, this site is absolutely incredible. It's thousands of years older than Stonehenge and suggests a level of sophistication that completely rewrites what we thought we knew about early civilization. And, by extension, where organized religion even came from. Okay, so once the old beliefs are shaken up, step 2 is meant to fill that void. This is the main event, a spectacular global light show in the sky.
The theory goes that they would use the sodium layer in the upper atmosphere like a giant movie screen, projecting massive, three-dimensional holograms of gods, prophets, or even alien spacecraft that would be visible to everyone on Earth, all to create a new, unified, and totally manufactured belief system.
But just seeing it might not be enough to convince everyone, right? Well, to make the illusion totally believable, step 3 adds sound. We're talking about telepathic communication. The theory claims that extremely low-frequency waves would be used to broadcast messages that would feel like they're coming from inside your own head, making you believe that your new god, or the aliens, are speaking directly to you.
Now, before you dismiss this as pure science fiction, proponents point to actual declassified government programs. The CIA's Project Stargate looked into remote viewing, using your mind to spy. MKUltra was that infamous program that used drugs for mind control. Both the Soviets and the Chinese had military research projects dedicated to psychic phenomena. So while the technology might not be public, the interest from world powers was definitely there.
So, with the world's old belief shattered and a new manufactured truth beamed into everyone's heads, the stage is set for the final act, a simulated apocalypse. This could be anything, a staged alien invasion, a global pandemic, you name it. It's all designed to create maximum fear, making a desperate world beg for a savior. A role the new one-world government would be more than happy to fill.
So that's the theory. Pretty wild, right? But the really interesting part is how its followers connect these seemingly fantastic ideas to events that are happening in our world, right now. Let's start connecting some of those dots.
Theorists see signs of this plan everywhere. The COVID-19 pandemic, with all the global fear and calls for more surveillance and control, that's seen as a kind of test run for Step 4's simulated apocalypse. The AHRP facility up in Alaska, which studies the ionosphere, that's often pointed to as a potential tool for creating disasters. And of course, that steady drip, drip, drip of government disclosures on UAPs is seen as the perfect way to prep the public for a staged alien event.
From this point of view, all this UAP information isn't about transparency at all. It's interpreted as a psychological operation, a psyop. It's a slow campaign to get us all used to the idea of a non-human other, which would make a staged arrival all the more believable when the time is right.
So when you step back and look at all the pieces together, from a president's strange words to declassified government programs to today's headlines, it paints a picture so disturbing you just have to ask, could we be living in some kind of manipulated reality?
It forces us to think about a really profound question. What if the massive global crises we're all facing aren't just random acts of nature or chaotic politics? What if they are, like this theory suggests, carefully orchestrated events designed to fundamentally change how we see the world, all to push us toward a future someone else has already planned out?
In the end, whether you think Project Bluebeam is a prophetic warning or just pure paranoid fantasy, it leaves us all with a pretty powerful thought. The world is obviously changing at a dizzying speed. So maybe the most important question we can ask ourselves isn't if it's going to change, but how, and at whose hands.